Hello fellow collectors, thank you so much for clicking on the video. I hope you're all doing wonderfully well today. So it's been a little while since my last pickups video. I think the last one I posted was at the beginning of June, which covered my pickups for April and May. So I thought it was high time that I did another one, just updating you on everything that I've added to my collection in the last 2.5 months. So this is everything from June, July, and I think it's the 18th of August today, so the first half of August as well. I was putting off doing this video just until the last Crusade arrived, and that arrived a few days ago, so I thought it was high time just to show you everything that I've got. So we'll just go through things quickly because a lot of these, the vast majority, I haven't had a chance to watch yet. So yeah, I'll just show you everything that I've picked up. First up, we'll start with the box sets. So if you've been curious about this one, you might have seen my unboxing of it. Picked up the Melville box set from Studio Canal. Some absolute classics in here, like Bob Le Flambeur and Le Cercle Rouge, which I'm very, very much looking forward to seeing, and looking forward to seeing more of Belmondo as well. Then we've got the Atom Egoyan set, another filmmaker that I'm not familiar with his work at all, but really, really keen to become familiar with it. Particularly excited to see The Sweet Hereafter, which I think is his most famous film. Slightly disappointed in that this one's just a flimsy cardboard set, but the films inside are what really matters, eh? Then we've got the Louis Malle set, another set full of some absolute classics. Particularly excited to see My Dinner with Andre and Au revoir les enfants. So there's 10 films in here, which is a fantastic box set. So yeah, I'll be incredibly familiar with him once I've seen all 10 of these. Then Columbia Noir number 5, the Humphrey Bogart box set from Indicator, which I have been making my way through. I've seen 3 of the is it 6? Yeah, I've seen 4 of the 6 so far. Sad to say, pretty average so far, honestly. Nothing's been particularly stand out. I've still got The Harder They Fall and The Family Secret to go, so hopefully those 2 are good, but yeah, a bit on the average side if I'm honest, sadly. And then last of the box sets, we have what pretty much everyone has, judging by all the posts and everything a little while ago. We have Drive from Second Sight. The big massive edition that they have released of it. You can see mine still in the wrapping. I haven't cracked this one open yet, but I don't think I've actually seen this since it came out, which must have been, what was it, maybe 2011, something like that. So yeah, really excited to watch this one again, and yeah, I've heard it looks fantastic in 4K, so I'm excited to check that out. Up next, we'll go with some boutique titles, if I can get them down safely. So these 3, the first 3 here from Eureka, we have The Cocoon by Ron Howard, we have The Incident, and we have Enemy Mine. So all 3 of these are actually out of print now, which is why I picked them up. You know me and Eureka by now, if you've seen any of my past haul videos. If something gets announced as out of print, I panic and usually buy a few titles, which is again the case that has happened here. But particularly interested to see Enemy Mine, because I know Red Letter Media did a review of it not that long ago, so yeah, definitely excited to watch that one. But all 3 of these, of course, yeah, very keen to see. And then a couple more Eureka titles. We have 1900 or Novecento. I didn't realise when I picked this one up, but my goodness, I'm pretty sure this one's about 5 hours long. It's 315 minutes, so yeah, when I get a chance, I will watch this one, but my goodness, that is long. And then the last Eureka title, we've got City Girl, by a silent film by F.W. Murnau. Then a few Arrow Academy titles. We've got Little Nothings. We've got The Bells of St Mary's, which I'm very excited to watch, with Bing Crosby and Ingrid Bergman. We've got So Dark the Night, which was Very average, I thought. Pickup Alley. Model Shop, which will be the first Jacques Demy film that I'll ever see. The Major and the Minor, which was quite amusing, and another Billy Wilder film. So I'm well on my way to having his full filmography at some point soon. And then Hotel du Nord, which I know has a Criterion release coming quite soon. Then we'll go to the steelbooks. And first up, we've got The Isle of Dogs, which was the last title I needed to complete my Wes Anderson film collection. And I particularly wanted this steelbook as we've just got a bare bones Blu-ray in the UK. Luckily, I managed to find this for about £20 brand new on, I think it was like a toy website. It was very strange for them to be selling a steelbook, but I was delighted to find it still for sale and still brand new. So really happy to have this one. I love the film. I'm a big fan of Wes Anderson in general, but yeah, big fan of this film, so looking forward to rewatching it very soon. Next up, what we'll show together is Raiders of the Lost Ark and The Last Crusade. I don't know if you can tell, but Raiders is actually the American version, which is glossy, and The Last Crusade is the British version, which is matte. So in America, I think all three indie films that have been released on this new line of steelbooks so far have had a glossy finish, and all of ours in the UK have had a matte finish. I'm not sure why. Definitely think the glossy one looks better. Not sure if it really comes across on camera, but yeah, certainly looks better to me. Not the biggest fan of Temple of Doom. I like it, happy to watch it, but yeah, for me the Blu-ray that I've got is enough, so just picked up these two out of the trilogy. And then we've got 12 Monkeys, which is the Arrow video version, which comes with a steelbook inside as well as a slipcase. I've been wanting to upgrade my DVD of 12 Monkeys for a little while now, and I saw this drop to something like £11.50, and I thought, even though there's a 4K version that Arrow have now released, I thought I couldn't say no to a great deal like that, so decided to pick that up, and really looking forward to watching this one. I'm not the biggest fan of Terry Gilliam, but yeah, I enjoyed 12 Monkeys a lot when I watched it, so definitely keen to revisit this one as well. Then we've got Hell or High Water. This one I imported from America and luckily came very, very well shipped. I've got already actually from Film Arena editions of Wind River and Sicario, so I was looking to complete the Frontier trilogy, and delighted to pick this one up in 4K. It's a great looking steelbook, and quite a big fan of how these Lionsgate steelbooks look. It seems like we are getting some releases of them over here now, but as far as I know, this one hasn't been released or announced over here yet, so was glad to get it shipped from the US. And then last for the steelbooks, we've got the Everything Blue editions of The Invisible Man and Black Klansman. I was a big fan of The Invisible Man when I saw it, and I liked Black Klansman, but I didn't love it, but certainly keen to re-watch it. I'm a big fan of all the actors involved in that film. But these both dropped on Zavvi. So Zavvi actually, these are both from Everything Blue, which was a sort of premium UK steelbook distributor. And they sort of make really nice slips, comes with little extras as well. But they got bought out. Not exactly sure who by, but they will be back, but just under another name and another guise for another company. But Zavvi, I know, bought their remaining stock that was unsold, and both of these dropped to, I think it was around £30, which I just couldn't say no to. So I decided to pick these two up, and yeah, extremely glad I did, because they are great additions. Then we'll go for these. Picked up Brief Encounter directed by David Lean. I bought a couple from Amazon, and I needed something to put me over the £20 mark to get free delivery. And this has been on my list for a long, long time. So finally picked up this edition of it. I know Criterion have released this in the US as well, but thoroughly enjoyed this film. It's an absolute classic, honestly. And I do actually have the book of this, which I'm quite keen to read at some point soon. Next, from BFI, we've got Vivre sa vie, featuring Anna Karina, and of course directed by Jean-Luc Godard. Quite a big fan of Godard in general, not as a person, but just as a filmmaker. But this one, I felt quite let down by it, honestly. I thought it was very average. And whether it was just went over my head or just didn't connect with me for whatever reason, just quite an average one. But I know lots of people love this one. I've even heard it described as the perfect film, but certainly not for me. But very glad to have this one in the collection, and certainly one that I will revisit in the future. Next, from BFI as well, Celine and Julie Go Boating. Never seen a Jacques Rivette film before, so very excited to see one. And I heard this had a similar sort of vibe to The Virgin Suicides, which is one of my absolute favourite films of all time. I think it's an absolute masterpiece. So very excited to watch this one. But I didn't realise when I picked it up, it's about 3 hours long. So this one's going to have to wait to get watched. Then just a couple titles from HMV, who are currently having a Signal 1 sale. So I picked up Panic in the Streets, which I'm very excited to watch. I'm a big fan of Richard Widmark, and of course that one was directed by Elia Kazan, a great film noir, and The Gunfighter with Gregory Peck. And then just one title from Arrow Video, which is The Incredible Shrinking Man, which I know Criterion have released as well. But yeah, quite a bit of a classic film, only about, I think, 81 minutes long, so not too long at all. But yeah, quite keen to see this one. And Arrow are still having their sale. I believe it is still going on at the moment. So this one was about £9, which is very reasonable. Then up next, go for this stack here. So we'll start at the top with a few 4Ks. So I picked up, HMV were having a 3 for £30, and decided to pick up these three titles: I Am Legend, Mortal Engines, and Jupiter Ascending. I saw Jupiter Ascending some years ago, and I've been quite keen to watch it ever since, honestly. It's from the Wachowskis, and when I was watching it, I'd read Dune not very long before, and I felt that there was some sort of epic and grand scale in Jupiter Ascending that really sort of spoke to me of kind of a Dune-esque sort of thing, and I found it quite interesting and quite enjoyed my time with it. Upon rewatch, I didn't enjoy it as much. Much more of an average film, and I know lots of people didn't like it in general, but I thought it was okay. It was okay, and it looked fine in 4K. Nothing too spectacular, but of course Dune has since come out as a movie, and they've absolutely nailed the scale and the grandeur in that film. So perhaps this was never going to quite live up to my previous expectations, but certainly glad to have it, and at £10 is not too bad at all. Mortal Engines as well will be another rewatch when I get to it. This was one where, I don't know if you ever come across films like this where there's so much potential and sort of rich stuff in the story, and when they squandered that, like this film made me angry because I felt like they squandered everything that they had. And yeah, I remember it just left me with a bit of a sour taste, but I have heard that the 4K on this one looks really good, and I have been curious to rewatch this one as well. So while it might not be a masterpiece, hopefully I do enjoy my time with it again. And last but not least, I Am Legend, which I don't think I've seen since it came out, so quite keen to revisit this one. I know it's not quite zombies, but I do quite like the sort of zombie genre, and of course, yeah, what's not to like with Will Smith on his own for pretty much a couple hours. You know, that's a film worth watching, isn't it? So yeah, keen to revisit that one when I get around to it. And luckily, this one came with a slip. I was hoping Jupiter Ascending would come with a slipcover as well, because I know it does have a nice one, but sadly, only the 1 out of the 3 came with a slipcover. Next, we'll go for a rare DVD pickup, which is Man Bites Dog. Bought this one because, I don't know if anyone else has it, I got it as a gift a couple of years ago. It's sort of like a cult cinema or cult film poster, and you basically scratch off, it's like a, you know, like a scratch card or something, that sort of similar thing. You scratch off when you've seen a film. And I've been so close to the end of this poster for a long time now, but there's just been a few that have been harder to find or hard to get, and Man Bites Dog is on there, so I thought finally I would pick up the DVD of it, because I know there's no, as far as I know, there's no Blu-ray, certainly no Blu-ray that I could find. I think I'm right in saying Criterion released this on DVD a long time ago, but I think it's long out of print, but yeah, quite keen to see this one. I know it's yeah, a bit of a weird one. I think it's a bit of a mockumentary, sort of spoof documentary. But yeah, I'm interested to see to see how weird this one is. Then my first imprint title, The Straight Story. The only reason that I picked this one up is because, if anyone's interested, I have an Instagram, at Goose's Movies. And Imprint actually followed me on Instagram, which I was overjoyed at. I have no idea why. It's still, you know, it's very small. But I thought, you know, it's a crime that I don't have any Imprint titles. I certainly would like to get them, but they're just incredibly expensive. But I thought, you know, a follow deserves me to pick up at least one of their titles. So I forked out the £30, which is not cheap, to pick up The Straight Story. I was sort of umming and ahhing between Days of Heaven and The Straight Story, but ended up going with The Straight Story, which I have not seen before. But of course, big fan of David Lynch, as I'm sure most of us are. And yeah, really excited to see this one. Next is a bunch of titles I picked up from HMV, from their premium collection sale that they've been running. So we'll just go through them. Forbidden Planet, 36 Hours with the legendary James Garner. The Setup, which I believe is a bit of a melodrama. Logan's Run, famous sci-fi. Jenny Agutter, she's the reason why I picked this one up. Point Blank, which is on the 1001 movies list. Yakuza, featuring Robert Mitchum. Bad Day at Black Rock, which again is on the 1001 movies list. 1984, featuring John Hurt and Richard Burton, which I'm very excited to watch. Wait Until Dark, which is Audrey Hepburn. And last from HMV is Marathon Man, featuring the legendary Dustin Hoffman and of course Laurence Olivier. And then last but not least, we'll go with a bit of a TV section. Usually I don't really add the TV ones in, but I thought I would do this time. I'm currently going through watching The Sopranos. I did sort of give it a go a few years ago, and I think I got to about maybe halfway through season 2 or something like that. But it was just, for some reason, I was struggling to find them anywhere, struggling to pick them up. So I ended up not continuing. But I thought, yeah, it was high time that I watched the show again and give it a proper go. And yeah, for some reason, I thought I had season 1, but I certainly couldn't find it. So I ended up looking for it and managed to get it on Blu-ray. I think this was about only £2 or something like that. Incredibly reasonable, though I will say the picture quality was not great, not by a long shot. But still very enjoyable, and certainly enjoying it and worth whatever I paid for it, the £2.50 I think it was. And then picked up season 4, which actually just arrived today on DVD. Currently about halfway through season 3. Up next is one that's been on my list to buy for a long time now, which is Flight of the Conchords. I think this came out, 2007 maybe? It was a long time ago. But I've been wanting to see this for ages. And yeah, it was just sort of browsing third-party sellers on Amazon and saw this for about £3. So I thought absolute no-brainer. And that was not in the best condition. It does come with a bit of a slip box as well, which I always quite like. And it was absolutely hilarious. I can't recommend this season, this series enough if you haven't seen it. It was absolutely excellent. Next, is a few seasons of Curb Your Enthusiasm. So I own season 1 to 7, and I recently thought, let me do a rewatch of it, and ended up picking up season 8 as well because I did not want to stop. And of course, that just led me to get season 9, and then season 10, which is a bit disappointing, I'll be honest, for some reason. And then most recently, season 11, which I'm very glad has the slipcover, because my seasons 1 to 7 all have little slip boxes which look really nice together, but for some reason season 8, 9 and 10 don't have anything at all, but at least season 11 has a slip, so it sort of fits in it a little bit better. But my goodness, this has been absolutely hilarious. It's such a funny show. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. I was having a bit of a tough time at work a few weeks ago, and my goodness, coming home to Larry David was was a real joy. It really got me through. And then last but not least, we have Stargate Atlantis, the complete series on Blu-ray. I'm a huge fan of Stargate, all of the shows, SG-1, Atlantis, and I know I'm in the minority, but I did quite enjoy Universe when it came out, though I haven't seen it since then. But yeah, I saw Atlantis on sale, I think on Amazon, maybe in 2020 for £35. And I didn't pick it up at the time, but I've been loath to pay any more than 35 since then. I don't know if you're like that, where you see something's dropped in price and then you just can't ever bring yourself to pay more than that. But it hasn't dropped in price since that time. But recently HMV have been running sort of a 50% off sale on quite a lot of items, but some various items. And I saw, Stargate Atlantis was 50% off, and lo and behold, it was going for £35. So I snapped it up, and I'm absolutely delighted to have this, and actually be able to watch it on Blu-ray, which should be gorgeous. And hopefully one day we will get a Blu-ray of SG-1 over here. I think a Canadian company sort of released like an upscaled version, but yeah, it's not available in the UK, sadly. But yeah, I wouldn't hold out much hope that we'll get a proper sort of HD version, but I'll take an upscaled version if we can get one. But at least we do have Blu-rays of Atlantis, which I am delighted to own. Well, for some reason my sign-off didn't record, so I've popped back to a voiceover. If you've made it this far in a video, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed it. Hopefully there was enough variety here, from box sets to steelbooks to boutiques to TV. It's certainly been a good 2.5 months worth of pickups, but also a very expensive one, so hopefully the next 2.5 will be a bit more reasonable. I've certainly got plenty to watch. I hope you've also been picking up some great titles recently. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.